When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world.
I'd buy that for $1.
Hello, 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 and a Merry Christmas to you.
Hello.
Merry Christmas, shitter's full.
Yes,
That's
it's the season.
That is the season to be merry. And of course, welcome to another episode of the Vlogcast. This one is a big episode because we're not going to be doing Vlogcasts for a little while. At least until the holiday season is well behind us. They take too long. But we have a lot in store for you today, so we're going to go ahead and get started with things that we have been watching and doing lately.
Okay.
I actually have something I'm reading.
Ooh.
I know, reading. I've learned it a while back as in a place called elementary school, but I kind of forgot it for a while. But I did relearn it in order to check out this manga, K-On!
Ooh.
I have read the first 3 volumes of the series. It's not a long series. It's a bunch of omake, I think is the word. Is that right? The like 4-panel thingies or 5-panel thingies?
Yeah, well, they call it a 4-coma or what do we each...
Yeah.
Or like a ron coma, yon.
So they're right now there are 4 volumes of the series when they're in high school, and then there's 1 volume after high school for college, and there's another volume following the students left behind at the high school.
Yeah.
And it's about it's about these girls who get together and form a band at the light music club in their school. And it's a slice of life. It's a fun series, and I enjoy what I read. I just can only read small bits at a time.
Yeah.
Little itty-bitty books, but hopefully I will be through them relatively quickly. There are some big words in it after all, but hopefully we can move through them. So what have you been reading, watching, or whatever?
We'll start with reading, because there hasn't really been all that much since the last time we did one of these. Mainly just a handful of comics. I read a big bundle that claimed to be X-Men Gold. It's one of the more recent X-Men titles out there. Some good stuff there. And I started a series that I'm curious about called Hawkeye Kate Bishop, which follows the other Hawkeye in her attempts to start up a private eye firm. And, it was interesting. She's a little too reckless, I think, but otherwise a fun character. Yeah, so that's mostly what I've been on reading-wise this week.
Still watching a bunch of stuff?
A fair bit, but I'll get to that in a moment.
All I've got is watched, and so I've only got stuff I've finished. I don't have anything I've actually done.
Well, as far as
process.
I guess if in process, I said last time we did this that I started Love, Chunibyo, and Other Delusions. I've watched some of that this week, and I've also returned to CSI after a couple of weeks' absence. That's really it as far as watching. I got a few... Oh, well, actually, I'll go ahead and add this to the watching, I guess. I am still working on my Criterion project, which is trying to watch Criterion films and everything that goes with them. And a big part of my viewing time the past several days has been tied up with one of these. I have been working my way through Rebecca. At this point, I only have a couple of items left. There are 3 radio broadcasts of Rebecca that are included in the collection, and I've watched the first of the 3, listened to the first of the 3. So I'm almost done with that. There's a lot of stuff in that release. So
a good Criterion film should have a lot of good special features.
Yes.
I mean, it really is telling you how to make this film, how they got through it, And
Right.
that's why a lot of these newer ones, it just really isn't
Right.
worth it.
Well, even some of the, even then, like, even with some of the older ones, they really, really, really scrimp on the releases. Sometimes they do a really good job, but not quite that extra mile. One of the fun things on this one, which I will count among my watched because it's technically a separate production, they had something, I think the title of it was Daphne du Maurier Following in the Footsteps of Rebecca, and it's a French documentary about the making of the film, but more accurately about du Maurier herself. And it was pretty interesting. It's good stuff.
Well, I have a lot in the finished category. One of which is a usual for me, which is Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas Ever. Gotta get that in. I mean, it is. It's a great Christmas special. I actually believe it is underrated. It does have a lot of the sap that you expect in those type of specials, but it is fun. It is entertaining, and it's Grumpy Cat. I love Grumpy Cat.
And check out our list of the, our very poorly titled list of the 15 Christmas classics that aren't. Yeah, they could be, they should be, but it just hasn't happened. I believe that was one of your top picks for that one.
It was.
Yes. Along those lines, in preparation for this week's discussion from Inside Movies Galore, I watched Scrooged again. That is a classic film. I've only seen it a handful of times. I very much was pleased to do so. I picked up a copy on Black Friday, and honestly, that's one of the reasons I voted for it for us to do. But that worked out.
I've seen it over 100 times, and I also watched it this week in preparation. I literally was quoting it before they even said their lines. That's when you know a movie that well, you know you've watched it way too many times.
Yes.
Of course, we had a bad snow last week, which, of course, had us really put off on our videos.
Yeah.
But we did get a number out, and during the snow, we got together. We were off from work, and Snow Day. I like to put a snowy film on when it comes to that, and that was one that we watched while we were surrounded by the snow.
Yeah.
And it is fun. It is a Nickelodeon Studios. Actually, originally was going to be the Pete and Pete movie.
Oh.
Which was a special, like a bunch of specials. Start off with little shorts, and they got their own 3-season TV series. 2 of which are released on DVD. Unfortunately, they did not release the third. Those bastards.
Yeah.
But it's about this average neighborhood and these 2 brothers and their strange adventures in Slice of Lifeville. It really is a fun one. The movie is about a snow day. Instead of 2 brothers, it's about a brother and a sister, and they have a little brother that's just comic relief. And their fight to try and keep the rare double snow day.
Nice.
We didn't get a double snow day.
No, we got 1 day of snowfall. I got a double snow day in terms of having 2 days in a row where I couldn't go to work, which sucked.
Yeah.
But it it was interesting. But it was really weird. It was like a record snowfall for this area, which is really weird for the way it all played out. But yeah.
Well, another film we watched was Snowed. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was going with the snowed in thing.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, because of the snow day, we of course did not get together for our usual videos. But if because you are all good viewers and you paid attention to our videos last week, we did put out a short vlogcast, a record-setting short one, I think, where we tried to cram as much as we could into a very, very, very short period of time. But I intentionally left out the items that I've written or recorded reviews for, I need to get these actually edited and posted. I really hope to do so within the next month, but I don't know how that's going to turn out. But one thing I did finish watching, and I recorded my video, and I've mentioned this on the channel a few times, so I'm not going to go into too much depth now. But I did finally finish off Chihaya Furu Season 2.
Woo.
Technically, I've finished it off, but Season 3 is coming next year. I'm really looking forward to that. It is an awesome show about a girl who is obsessed with an arcane game called Karuta. And the assortment of individuals who kind of get drawn into this world. It's a very odd subject matter for an anime. Very odd subject matter for a sports anime in particular. But it is easily the best sports anime I've ever seen. And it is well worth checking out. But if you haven't already started, I don't know, you might want to wait for Season 3 or whatever. But I can't wait to see that.
So, also on the Snowden, because it is a Snowden movie, we did watch Krampus again.
Good times.
Did you watch Krampus with us?
Not this year. I
Can't
recall if I've seen it.
It was covered by Inside Movies Galore, but that was before your time joining us on the show.
It was.
We did do the Krampus movie. It is a very interesting take on it. I am a Krampus aficionado. If you've paid attention to the channel, you will have seen a number of Krampus reviews that I got Santa Claus himself to review for me, which are on a wish list. Not wish list, on a list. So you can check it out if you really want.
Check it out.
Very poor motion capture technology that I have, but hey, I'm a YouTuber and I am not getting paid for this.
Yes.
When we get enough, or if we get enough people that we can get paid, maybe I will upgrade the equipment a little bit.
Right.
Instead of just having a camera on top of our computer that's recording this stuff. Who knows?
Who knows?
But Krampus is kind of fun. Krampus, of course, is the Punisher version of Santa Claus, who punishes the guilty and the evil. And basically, this kid gets upset with his family and writes this letter to Santa, but then tears it up, and that summons Krampus to go and kill everybody. It is very well done as far as horror tales go, and the way that they did, I mean, even like some of the campier ones, like the little gingerbread men that attack people, it is very creepy. If you haven't and you like a good Christmas horror movie, check it out. It is one of my favorite Christmas horror films.
Cool. There we go.
Yep.
Okay, well, continuing on with the Criterion thing, I actually had watched Rebecca a while back, and I held off on the bonus content because there was so freaking much of it. But in the meantime, I have watched and recorded several other videos for movies that don't have quite as much bonus content. And two of them I actually knocked out prior to our last video, and I wanted to go ahead and mention them. One is a Japanese film from the late 60s by Nagisa Oshima that's called Death by Hanging. And it comes with a short film by Oshima called The Diary of Yonbogi. And The Diary of Yonbogi is a very strange experimental. It's not really a film per se. The whole thing is narrated photographs that Oshima apparently went to Korea and took a whole bunch of photographs, and there was a diary published from a kid who lived in Korea, and so Oshima has the diary narrated. He narrates his own script responding to the diary and his pictures. It's a weird little film, but it's really it's very intriguing and kind of sad little look at life in Korea at the time. And Death by Hanging itself, the basic gist of it is, in the early 60s, a Japanese-born Korean was convicted of the rape and murder of a high school girl. He himself was a high school boy. He was convicted of the rape and murder of a girl. He was suspected of the rape and murder of another girl. And he spent 4 years in prison before being executed. And during that time, he released some letters that got a cult following. Oshima himself was deeply moved by this young man's ability to write and express himself. So he decided to make a film that puts the question, what if he had not died? Mm-hmm. So he is hanged, but it doesn't kill him. And the opening scenes are just like straight up documentary, but after he, quote, is executed, the scenes where the bureaucrats don't know what the flippin' hell to do are hilarious. It's almost got a Dr. Strangelove vibe to it. And then by the end, the movie gets straight up insane. I mean, it just goes off the rails insane. It's a weird film. It's very distinctive. I have never seen anything quite like it. And that one actually did have a few bonus features. So I do have a review ready. It just needs to be edited. Again, hopefully it'll be up soon.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
There is another one that I watched. I guess I've been doing a lot of Christmas watching, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, this is the season.
Yep.
I finally watched Bad Santa 2.
Nice.
Have you seen that one yet?
Not yet.
It is pretty much as depressing as the first. Matter of fact, it basically said, oh yeah, it even commented on the ending. You thought it was a happy ending. You were wrong. I was like, okay, well, got to prepare myself for this crap. This time, of course, our lovely robbers are back with the gosh, what is his name? The other one that he was working with. Gosh, what was his name?
The one that played the elf?
Yeah.
Tony Cox?
Yes, he's back, and of course they team up with his mother.
Yeah.
Not his, but Bad Santa's mother. And they go at it to try and rob, street corner Santas, essentially. It's not a bad film. It was well done. Not as good as the classic first film, but still worth a watch.
Was Zwigoff involved with this one?
I don't know. I really don't know. I think I still have it over here, so maybe I can pull it. Yes! Alright.
Let's see.
Billy Bob Thornton. Alright, so. I don't know.
So Kathy Bates plays his mother?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
It is
awesome.
Let's see here. I don't see it.
Oh, well.
No.
Oh.
Okay, so you go ahead.
Okay. My other Criterion one that I got knocked out of the way is a highly controversial one, which honestly, one of the reasons I own it is it inexplicably was on sale much, much, much cheaper than any of the others. But this was an example of a new release that was immediately released on Criterion with very little bonus content. But I finally got to see the French film Blue is the Warmest Color, which does live up or down, depending on how you look at it, to its reputation in quite a few ways. It's a film that apparently the director was well known as a work-obsessed fanatic who drove his people insane. His two leads both said it was one of the most difficult experiences of their lives. They've both sworn they will never work with him again. They're proud of the film, but they will never work with him again. He actually almost scuttled the film because his crew came out and said that he was basically inhuman working conditions for the, and lately the director has also been accused of sexual improprieties, Yeah, there's a lot of controversy, but a lot of the controversy has to do with the fact that the multiple sex scenes supposedly were filmed by someone who had no real knowledge of the subject matter. A lot of people in the LGBT community said, no, you don't know what you're doing here. And apparently some of them find them amusing. I will say this, there are multiple sex scenes and they are lengthy. And they probably could have cut 3 or 4 minutes out of the film without losing anything except for some of the controversy. And the film is 3 hours long, so they definitely should have cut some stuff. That said, it's a pretty entertaining, well-made movie. It really is. It's got phenomenal performances. You would expect that with all the stories behind it, but so that one's done.
Well, speaking of sexy,
I was going to say, speaking of Christmas films.
speaking of sexy, I finished Lady Krampus 2.
Good.
Maybe not so sexy.
Oh, God.
But essentially, this film I did do a review for. It should come up sometime soon. I just got to edit it. I've got a couple other things I've got to edit and work on. But I'm hoping that it does get there. And whenever I get these going, of course, the others get pushed back. But week of Christmas, maybe. But this one was very different from the first one. Matter of fact, I couldn't even tell it was related. There's no Santa suit. The only Santa suit is the one in the cover of the film. It's about an escaped killer from a mental institution who is a slasher. That is essentially the gist of it. It's not a terrible slasher movie. I do feel that the main girl, survival girl, is probably the least apt survivor girl I have seen in most horror films.
Even worse than the one in Thanksgiving?
I don't know. That's a parody of a survivor girl. But,
the survivor girl cannot tell when her own father's face is on a turkey.
It reminds me of one of those commercials they used to play that made fun of it. And they said, "Hey, look, there's the car. No, we can't go there. Let's go hide behind the wall of chainsaws."
I think I remember that.
It wasn't that long ago.
Okay.
A year ago or something. But it's one that I would buy again. Probably not. I'd probably wait for it to go down to like $5. But stay tuned for the review.
All right. So, I'm going to... I really don't have too many on here, and one of them I think is on your list as well, because we watched together.
Oh, let's finish that one off since it's Christmas.
Yeah, we finally got to see The Man Who Invented Christmas, which is a very entertaining and interesting film. And the idea is Dan Stevens plays Charles Dickens, who, after a very successful novel with Oliver Twist, has a couple not-so-successul novels. Interestingly enough, one of them was apparently Nicholas Nickleby, which he is well known for nowadays. But he was in some financial distress, and he comes across an idea for a book that his publishers just pretty much laugh him out of the room, and he's just like, well, screw you guys, I'm going to publish it myself. And that, of course, eventually becomes known as A Christmas Carol. And the movie does a very fanciful take on the creative process, where I believe you said it seemed like he was in the early stages of schizophrenia or something along that. But he sees all the characters. But one of the best parts of that is Christopher Plummer plays Scrooge.
Oh, his performance is excellent.
Oh, he was great. he was a great Scrooge. He really was. Yeah. There's a wonderful part where an exasperated Dickens is like, "I'm the author here," allegedly. It's just like
A lot of great one-liners on that one.
Yes, there were a lot of great one-liners. I believe last year was it last year with All the Money in the World? So that might have been the one where everyone was talking about Plumber for that. So, but this was one of those. The whole movie kind of went under the radar, you know. But it was a good one, and for our list of films that should be classics, could be classics, I would say this one could have gone on the list if we had seen it.
Well, I have a couple that I had to prioritize because they came loose. Matter of fact, all of these are used ones, and I had to really prioritize them.
Well, I only have one left, so do as many as you want.
Well, I'm going to take actually 4 of these films, and then I'll let you go, and then I'll get the last 3.
Sounds good.
Class of Nukem High, Parts 1, 2, and 3, which are classic trauma films about this high school that's built right next to a nuclear power plant.
Because why not?
Yeah, I mean, why not? And the high school, I don't think, really fares well in any of the 3 movies. It gets destroyed pretty much every time. 2 of the movies, the first 2 came loose in the disc with some damage on them, but they played fine, thank goodness. And they were fun films. The first one was directed by the famous... Gosh, of course I say this and I have to look it up because I can't remember his name off the bat. But he's famous for Trauma. And essentially, stuff happens. A lot of mutations happen. A lot of fun things happen. And there are a lot of... it's Lloyd Kaufman. That's one.
Oh, yeah. I know that name.
Lloyd Kaufman is a fun guy. He's very boisterous when it comes to how he does things, and you can tell it in his directing. There's an energy there that's not quite in the other 2, though the other 2 do have their own nice humor moments. It's a very fun horror comedy series, but not one for the weak of stomach in some areas.
Right.
Because they do a lot of the melting people and stuff like that.
Oh boy.
Yeah. The other one, which is more recent on there, Return to Nukem High, which does have a bit part with Kyle Rappaport in it. He plays a dancing, somebody dancing around in the background. Something fun to look for. That one also, you can see his energy and comedy return actually double-fold. I need to look at the sequel of it. And I can't wait to see the sequel. So when it comes out physical media, I probably will be getting that. But they are worth seeing. That one also had come loose in the box, and also was damaged looking, but also played fine, thank goodness. That's the one thing I do like about Blu-rays over DVDs. The Blu-rays do tend to take more damage and play better. Unfortunately, these were DVDs. But I got them in this really nice set, the part 3. They were in a very nice set.
Very good.
And the second one was really cool because they had a Godzilla-style squirrel in it. Alright.
Squirrelzilla. Is that it?
Yeah, I got 3 more, but go ahead with your last one.
Okay. Well, my last one for the week is actually a pretty big one. I finally got to see Spike Lee's joint from the summer, Black Klansman.
Good film.
It was good. I really liked it. This film, it stars John David Washington, Denzel's son, as Ron Stallworth, who was a rookie cop in Colorado Springs, who gets it in his head according in the movie, he sees the Klan, the KKK, had like a phone number in the paper and said to call. And then when he talks to him, he's like, "Is this the Klan?" And it's like, "Hey, the organization. We keep it on the down low." And I'm like, "You put it in the paper. how long could you... but it was like, you had, what was the guy that he was talking to? Geez, I can't remember who was who. But you got some really interesting supporting cast, and chief among them, Adam Driver, is also plays Flip Zimmerman, and he becomes the face of Ron. Basically, Ron calls and says, hey, I'm interested in joining your organization. And so he handles the phone, and then Flip goes in as Ron, and basically he goes through all the motions, and they basically run a sting operation. Their third part of their little group is Michael Buscemi, who's Steve Buscemi's brother. So he's a small role, but it's cool seeing him in there. And then you had, as David Duke, the quote-unquote national director, the Grand Wizard, but he wants to be political, so he calls himself played by Topher Grace, of all people. And he did a good job. He really did. He did a good job. Supposedly Duke wasn't crazy about the portrayal, but, you know, I wouldn't have thought he would have been.
Not exactly something he's happy about anyway.
Right. But one of my very favorite parts of the film, I'm going to try not to give too much away, but there's a part where the actual Ron Stallworth is assigned to do security for David Duke at one point. And he comes up to him, he's like, hey man, you know, no one's going to believe I actually had to do security for you. Could you do a Polaroid with me? And so Duke's like, okay, you know, he's trying to be political. He doesn't want to take a picture with this black dude, but he's like, yeah. And he pulls his second in command, and, you know, he puts, you know, Stallworth in the middle, and right before the picture gets taken, he gives him a big bear hug. It's like just their expression. It was so great. But the film, of course, was produced by Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
And Spike Lee directed. And I think the two of them, they have very different styles, but I think they meshed really well together for this one.
I think that really Peele must have had some influence, because you could tell there was a lot of humor.
Oh, yeah.
And it really didn't come across as harshly. There was slaps in the face like you would see in a Spike Lee, but not as
particularly
hard.
The end of the film.
Yeah,
they were already working on the film when all that BS went down in Charlottesville, but they specifically tailored it. Lee got the permission he needed to use footage of the car going through the crowd and all that stuff, and he dedicated the film to the person who was killed in that attack. Heather Byers, I think her name was. And but he ends the film with footage of that event, footage of Trump talking about good people on both sides. Obviously, this was Spike Lee's anger bleeding through. There is no question about it. But it honestly, and he released the film exactly 1 year to the day after that event on purpose. But up until then, this could be seen as a dark satire that's not super, super aggressively partisan. Well,
there were a lot
not as much as you would expect from Spike Lee.
Yeah, there were a lot of jabs at Trump throughout the entire.
There were.
They were more subtle, but they were
subtle.
There.
Most of the jabs were more at the KKK and that sort of thing. But it really, to me, the film is unbelievably timely, and it's just, it is something I think people ought to see. And
don't show it to your Trump-supporting uncle, though. I just don't think anybody who supports Trump would enjoy this film.
Trick them into it. But at any rate...
there's a good way to lose any connection at that point.
Yep.
I have three that I'll end up on, and then we'll move on into news, because we need to get into this awards coverage. I'm going to even hold on some of these news stories until I get... until the next time. But... three of these, Ren and Stimpy's Adult Party Cartoon.
Oh, dear God.
That's the best response to what it is. It was a 6-episode series, 3 of which did actually air on Spike TV. Theoretically, there are 8 episodes, but one of them was combined from 2 parts, and the other one, part 1 was an old episode, and then part 2 was the new. I had only seen 1 on air. I was disgusted by it and stopped watching, which I guess pretty much everybody did. But then I collected all of Ren and Stimpy, and I said, you know what? This is all from my childhood. I'm a completionist. I'll go ahead and collect it, and it's badly out of print. I was lucky enough to find one under 14. Now people are trying to get like $400 a copy of it. Yeah, that's a good response. It is really, really bad. There are some that are watchable. There's one about a naked beach party, which is entertaining. And I think that's the one that got them to say, okay, we're not going to let you do it because there were too many naked boobies in it. But overall, it's really much harsher. I think that having the creative talent reined in was a good thing. But it had a lot of special features, a lot of good things about it. I mean, Weird Al did an introduction for an episode. Not to say his taste is the best in this case, but still not bad overall. Just not good either. I watched 2 films and I got this massive, like, 20 film collection of mixed things that are out of print, and some of them Troma, some of them not, and Troma are expensive. And I got a whole bunch of them for $20. So now they're my priority right now because they're all used. One of them I got to watch was Maniacs.
Okay.
Actually spelled like that. Maniacts. And it is in a mental health hospital. And it follows 2 patients in that hospital and of the old-timey, more abusive way that they used to treat people like. And it was a forensic zone. People there had killed people. These are murderers that you're seeing here. And it was well acted. I did enjoy the story. The ending, though, was a bit weird. I don't know. I'll have to watch it again. Last one was a horror film called Dead and Rotting. Essentially, there's an old witch in the swamp. These people come in on a dare to try and mess with it. She comes out and she gets a minor revenge on them. Then they send people out, and then they end up killing her cat. And that's not a good thing. So then she goes in, she starts killing people off, turning them into zombies, and then having them kill off the rest. It is a well done horror. I enjoyed it.
Cool.
Not one I'm sure that you would enjoy. But let's go ahead and get into news real quick.
Right.
I'm just going to do 2 items, and you can do 2 items, and then let's move on to the awards.
Sounds good.
One of which is Soulja Boy. I don't know if you know of Soulja Boy. He was like a one-hit wonder about 10 years ago.
Know of him.
And he has decided to market his own brand of game consoles, which are apparently rip-offs of these Japanese ones, these Raspberry Pi emulators, which have a bunch of licensed games illegally downloaded on them. And he's selling them publicly. And you can see a lot on him on YouTube. Now, what's funny about it is that he ended up, and he's being Nintendo's basic. Well, Nintendo has threatened to press charges. Nintendo don't play. He may actually face jail time. So we'll see where that story develops. But he doesn't stop. He doubles down on it. And he even says he's going to start his own esports around his console. Yes.
Nice.
One other one I'm going to do, and then I'm going to let you do what... You have some news stories, I know.
Yeah.
We'll just, like I say, if you can, just do a couple. The new Pixar film was announced, and the name is called Onward. That's all we know about it so far, is that in the title screen. It's coming out on March 6th. So prepare yourself. That's going to be the next animated film winner.
Nice.
Well, not the next one. It'll be the one after next.
Right.
I believe Incredibles 2 is going to be taking that spot.
Yeah. So is my go?
Yeah.
Okay, so I do not have an enormous amount of news for the week, so I'll just go ahead and start with the two that I already had listed here. One interesting little blurb today from the world of video games. Charles Martinet, who has voiced Mario since... Oh, I can't remember the name of the game, but it was some silly off-brand game from the early 90s. But anyway, he has voiced Mario. He got a Guinness World Record for the most video game appearances as the same character. He has apparently voiced Mario in 100 different games.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. It's like, and apparently that's not even all the Mario games. He just has voiced that many. That's very interesting. That is a lot. And speaking of voice actors, I feel a kinship with this one because we are exactly the same age. And she has done some awesome stuff over the years. So I consider this fairly newsworthy, and I want to go. I really do. Anime Central will be in May in Chicago or near Chicago. Rosemont or some suburb of Chicago. I want to go.
That's what you're talking about, going to Chicago.
Yes, but Mai Nakahara will be making her first ever North American con appearance at that convention. So that might be worth going to see.
You said you had something else you had to...
Well, those were the two that I had, but there's another one I was looking into, and this is... the Oscars have made a weird move today. They make a lot of weird moves lately. They're still trying to be everybody's favorite, and they don't know how to do it. They have released several short lists, all at once. So if you want to know what you need to watch in time for the Oscars, they have already done the short list for documentary feature, documentary short subject, makeup and hairstyling, foreign language film, original score, original song, animated short, live action short, and visual effects.
Our next vlogcast, we're just going to go through that list. We'll dissect it next time.
It's a very sad and strange list. But
how many have you seen?
A few of them. They do have two of the documentaries I've seen on their short list, which is good.
Yeah, I see RBG on there.
RBG and Won't You Be My Neighbor are definitely going to be... I still think Won't You Be My Neighbor is going to be the winner this year, but yeah. Okay.
Well, let's get on to the award talk, shall we? We're covering two today, and we're trying to do our best. One of them is the Gamer Awards. I'm going to be very quick about this because, so I'm going to run through it. I know that you don't really have any dogs in the fight, so I'm just going to run through as quickly as possible. And then we'll hit the Golden Globes, which is what we're really looking for. So, going down the list of winners. Content Creator of the Year, Ninja. Most people know Ninja, especially on the Twitch. He does Fortnite.
On the Twitch?
Yeah, on the Twitch.
All right.
He's twitchy. He does Fortnite, and he got somebody famous on there, and then he shot up, and he is really, really rich. Sad. Any case, best esports moment. C9 comeback win in Triple OT versus FaZe. For those of you who actually do understand that, good for you. Best esports host.
I want to hear you try to pronounce this.
Ifshi, EEFJE.
Probably
Sjokz, SKSJOKZ, Doporter.
I'm guessing they're Dutch.
Probably. So for those of you who know these people, I know there's some gamers out there that listen. Check it out.
Adele Dazeem.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Best sports event. Esports event. League of Legends. World Championship. I do know League of Legends. I have not played it, though. I'm not good enough. Best Esports Coach, Bok Reaperd Hangyu,
Cool.
known as Cloud9. I can do Cloud9. Of course, Cloud9 is also the winner of the best team. LOL. Alright, best esports player, Dominique the Sonic Fox.
I'm assuming LOL is League of
McLean.
Legends.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's laugh out loud.
Yeah.
Best esports game, Overwatch. That one surprised me. I thought this year that Fortnite was going to overtake it. League of Legends and Dota 2, they've been traditional winners, but Overwatch has been moving up in the ranks. And Fortnite even faster. I will not be surprised if next year Fortnite has overtaken it and taken them down. Best debut indie game, The Messenger.
It should have been Donut County.
I agree. I really liked it. Actually, I have played Donut County. It is an awesome game. It's very, very addictive. It's the only one of the games on the list I've played. But
It's one of the only ones I've heard of.
and actually, Kim really likes it too. My wife likes it as well.
Good.
She even got a copy for herself on the computer. Best student game, Combat 2018. For those of you who know it. Best multiplayer game, Fortnite. Of course, that's the game of the year. Actually, believe it or not, Overwatch didn't even make that list, surprisingly. Best sports racing game, Forza Horizon 4. Again, not surprising. It is in the top-notch racing game circuit.
I wonder if that Mario Tennis Aces is one of the ones that got that guy the...
Yeah, I'm sure he did voice it. Best strategy game, Into the Breach. I've heard good things about it, haven't played it. Again, notes, people. Give me some comments if you know this stuff. Dan from the Rebel Gaming Club, if you're listening, I know you know these things. I know you know people who know these things. Give them some lowdown. Best family game, Overcooked 2. It does look like it's a fun game, but I don't know about best family game. Maybe best split up the family game. But we'll see. Best fighting game, Dragon Ball Fighters. Have you seen the way it looks?
No, but why are there only 4? This is the good category. And I actually know all these franchises. Blaze Blue, Soul Calibur, and Street Fighter. I know all these franchises.
And
They're all
Street Fighter
good.
5 Arcade really did redeem itself. But I have to agree. You've seen Dragon Ball Fighters, right?
I think so.
I mean, Blaze Blue is actually very similar in that style, that very anime-y style.
Yeah.
It is an awesome-looking game, and I've heard it is amazing. I need to check it out one of these days.
Yeah.
Best role-playing game, Monster Hunter World. I don't know, never played it. Personally, I would have picked Octopath Traveler or Dragon Quest XI, but again...
Yeah.
but some good ones on here. Best action-adventure, God of War.
Ah.
Now that one is a big one, I have heard.
And here's one where I know most of the franchises. I have to admit, I don't know Red Dead Redemption, and I'm probably... but I know,
you're going to get to hear that name a lot.
I know all the other franchises. Spider-Man, obviously, Assassin's Creed, and Tomb Raider. Yeah, good times. I've heard awesome things about that Spider-Man game. I want to play it.
Yeah, I've heard awesome things about all of them,
Yeah.
except for Odyssey and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. But the rest I've heard awesome things.
Yes.
Best action game, Dead Cells. I've heard a lot of good things about Dead Cells. It's one of those roguelike ones where you die a lot,
Ha!
but I've heard very good things. And Far Cry 5, you betrayed me. That ending, you betrayed me. I liked you. I gave you a chance. I reached out to you. I beat you. I don't beat games.
That's the one where you got to hunt fundies, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a great game. And then the ending. I don't even want to come back to it. Oh, gosh. And
It
they
was a
announced
far
that...
cry from what it should have been.
They actually announced a sequel to that.
Ah.
The post-apocalyptic thing that happens afterwards. It is interesting. Best mobile... Florence.
I think you skipped the VR one.
I'll go with the VR in a minute.
Okay.
Astrobot Rescue Mission is the VR one. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I don't have that VR stuff, so I couldn't tell you. Best
Tetris would
independent
be
winner,
fun VR.
Celeste. I've heard lots of good things about Celeste. Again, that's sort of like the really hard ones, sort of like Super Meat Boy. You're going through and you're having to use this challenge of your life. But I've heard the story, the music, everything. Very spectacular. I'm looking forward to seeing a physical release. I may even purchase it. I can't guarantee it. Games for Impact, again, the story, Celeste, again, beats that. Best performance. Roger Clark as Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2. I've heard lots of good things about Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm going to move through a lot of its winners. Best audio design.
Yuri Lowenthal is Peter Parker in that game. He does a lot of anime.
Best score. And they did like a performance at the awards as well. And I'm going to come back to the art direction. And best narrative. This has been, it cleaned up. Best art direction did go to Return of Obra Dinn. I have not seen it. I don't know a lot about it, though I do know the name. The one that, best game direction went to God of War. Best ongoing game went to Fortnite, of course.
Yep.
And Game of the Year surprised us all. We thought it was going to be Red Dead Redemption 2. It has just been getting mention
and that
after
one has
mention after
an
mention.
Additional nominee. That's interesting.
And God of War took it away. I knew Assassin's Creed Odyssey wasn't going to do it. It's too flawed. Celeste could have, but it's a AAA Games award. Spider-Man wasn't going to win in a battle of God of War and Red Dead Redemption 2. And Monster Hunter World is in that same bucket. It was going to be those two. It just still was a surprise that God of War won that.
Good times.
Well, that's been our our gamer awards. I'm going to move on because we're running out of time, but we need to move.
We had some fun surprises with the Golden Globes.
So I'm going to start at the bottom like I did there because they started with the main ones, and so we're going to start at the bottom and then start handling these one at a time, and we're going to just take these one at a time.
Okay.
So you can take it away for the nominees for.
Okay. Best performance by an actor in a supporting role in limited series, or motion picture made for television. We've got Alan Arkin, Karen Culkin, Edgar Ramirez, Ben Whishaw, and Henry Winkler. That's a very interesting assortment of people.
Henry Winkler?
Winkler.
What was he?
For Barry.
Oh.
I have not seen Barry, but it looks very interesting. That's the one that stars Bill Hader, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so that one actually has got a lot of buzz. Ben Whishaw for A Very English Scandal. That's another one that caught my attention, but I haven't seen it yet. But I've heard really excellent things about Culkin's performance, and he is an underrated actor. Alan Arkin is always solid. The one I don't know anything about is Ramirez's role is the assassination of Gianni Versace, American Crime Story. But the crime story ones have been very popular. So am I just going all the way through, or what's your plan here?
Do you have any that you wanted to comment on? Those are the. That's basically we go award by award and then comment on any that we feel like a need to.
So I guess you'll jump in if there are any you need to.
Yeah.
Okay, so the actress in a supporting role in series, limited series, or motion picture made for television. Alex Borstein for The Marvelous Miss Maisel. Patricia Clarkson for Sharp Objects. Penelope Cruz for The Assassination of Gianni Versace. Thandie Newton for Westworld. Yvonne Strahovski for The Handmaid's Tale.
I can only comment on one.
All of those are solid actresses. The Handmaid's Tale I've not seen yet, but I've heard she does a phenomenal job in it.
She does do a great job on that.
I've heard Sharp Objects is creepy as all hell, but Clarkson is a great actress. So I'm curious about all of those. Best...
I'll go ahead with the...
Okay.
So, best performance by an actor in a limited series or motion picture made for television.
All right.
Antonio Banderas, Genius Picasso, Daniel Bruhl for The Alienist, Darren Criss for The Assassination of Gianni Versace, American Crime Story, Benedict Cumberbatch for Patrick Melrose, and Hugh Grant, A Very English Scandal. A very English one indeed.
Yes. All of these, again, solid actors. I don't know Darren Criss as well as the others, but...
I haven't seen any of it, so I can't tell you.
Yeah, and I haven't heard much about most of these. And although The Alienist I've heard good things about. Yeah.
The last I saw of Cumberbatch was that miniseries he did that was almost Bond-like. I can't think of it.
Well, last I saw was Infinity War, but...
Okay, yeah, he wasn't... I mean, other than that, yeah.
Well, and of course he's also in The Grinch right now, yeah. So, actress, or did you want to do the actress one as well?
No, I want to go back and forth.
Actress in a limited series or motion picture made for television. We got Amy Adams in Sharp Objects, Patricia Arquette for Escape at Dannemora, Connie Britton for Dirty John, Laura Dern for The Tale, and Regina King for 7 Seconds.
Laura Dern.
Once again, I kind of want to see Sharp Objects, but I've heard mixed things about it.
It's sad that I haven't seen any of these.
Yeah, I know.
This is one of the reasons why the Golden Globes are harder for me, because I
know a lot more about the
So.
movies than I do the TV.
So, best television limited series or motion picture made for television. The Alienist for TNT, The Assassination of Gianni Versace, American Crime Story for FX, Escape at Dannemora, Showtime, Sharp Objects, HBO, and A Very English Scandal, Amazon.
They spread the wealth, and none of it to Netflix. That's interesting.
Very good.
Okay.
But Amazon, though...
Flip it up a bit.
But Amazon did get something there.
So, best actor in a television series, musical or comedy. Sacha Baron Cohen for Who is America.
Oh, yeah.
Jim Carrey for Kidding. Michael Douglas for The Kaminsky Method. Donald Glover for Atlanta. And Bill Hader for Barry. Now, I've heard very mixed things about Who is America. I've heard next to nothing about Kidding and The Kaminsky Method, but Atlanta and Barry are both ones on my to-watch list, and I've heard great things about them.
Kidding looks interesting. I've seen commercials for it. I have actually seen one of these. I have seen Who is America all the way through, and have really enjoyed it. But Sacha Baron Cohen doing what Sacha Baron Cohen does.
Yeah.
The fact that he has still fooled these people, especially with the person that he uses, that doesn't even look like a real person, surprises me to this day.
And he is really, really good. This is one thing I will give him.
Excellent character actor.
He is an excellent character actor, and he is really, really good at keeping in character, which the kind of thing that he does with a show like this, that's an important aspect there. So I guess I presented that, didn't I? So you can do the...
Yeah, so back up to... Oh,
actress.
Actress. Best performance by an actress in a television series, musical, or comedy. Kristen Bell in The Good Place. Candice Bergman in Murphy Brown. Alison Brie in Glow. Rachel Brosnan and The Marvelous Miss Maisel. And Deborah Messing in Will and Grace. I've seen one of those.
Nostalgic much? Like, I could not believe they brought back Murphy Brown, but Will and Grace, of course. Yeah, but I'm curious about both. I saw a few episodes of Murphy Brown back in the day, and I'm curious. I am curious about The Marvelous Miss Maisel, but I'm really curious about The Good Place. This looks really, really good.
It is really good.
It looks really good. I want to see it. And speaking of, The Good Place is up for Best Television Series, Musical or Comedy. The Good Place, NBC. Barry, HBO. Kidding, Showtime. The Kaminsky Method, Netflix. And The Marvelous Miss Maisel for Amazon.
No comment.
So, no comment?
No comment.
Okay, so we'll move on.
Best performance by an actor in a television series drama. Jason Bateman, Ozark. Stephen, Homecoming. Richard Madden, Bodyguard. Billy Porter, Pose. And Matthew Rees, The Americans. I've heard a lot about all of these, but I have not seen a single one.
I can't say I've heard a lot about most of these. In fact, I've heard almost nothing about a couple.
The Americans and Homecoming.
The Americans I've heard about.
And a little bit about the Bodyguard.
I've heard a lot about Ozark. It's supposed to be really good, and I want to see it. And Bateman is a great performer. Actress in a TV series drama. Catriona Balfe, I guess, in Outlander. Elizabeth Moss, The Handmaid's Tale. Sandra Oh for Killing Eve. Julia Roberts for Homecoming. Oh, right, that was Homecoming. Okay. And Kerry Russell for The Americans. Now, again, with most of these, I'm vaguely familiar. I heard a rant yesterday about Outlander that amused me very much, but it's super popular. But I've read The Handmaid's Tale. I've not yet seen it, but
Elizabeth
I want
Moss
to
is
see.
excellent in
I
it.
want to see this. Yes.
Let's see here. Best television series drama.
Right.
The Americans, Bodyguard, Homecoming, Killing Eve, and Pose. Haven't seen a single one.
Strangely enough, The Handmaid's Tale not
on there,
nominated.
surprisingly.
Strange. Yes.
This is season 2 of it that they're talking about now.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because did season 1
Yeah.
get nominated last year?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
But I mean, The Americans is up to what, 5 seasons maybe?
yeah, that's true.
So, original song, motion picture. All the Stars from Black Panther. Girl in the Movies from Dumplin'. Requiem for a Private War from A Private War. Revelation from Boy Erased. And Shallow from A Star is Born.
I'd like to have heard one of them.
I've heard one of them.
I've heard All the Stars.
All the Stars is a great song. It's a Kendrick Lamar song. It's great. Black Panther did have a lot of great original music. I'm not at all surprised that they are putting forward just one song so people don't get confused.
Yeah.
It is on the Oscar shortlist for original song. I have to say, though, so far this year, the song from Fireworks kicks every one of these songs' asses. The song from Fireworks was easily the best thing about that film.
Best thing about that film. I was about to
Easily
say,
the
yeah.
best thing. And the songs from Mariah of the Future were pretty darn good, too. But I'm not at all surprised that A Star is Born got in there. I really want to see that movie. Really do.
Got some good talent.
I want to see all these movies, actually. Go ahead.
The best original score for motion picture.
This had some surprises.
Marco Beltrami from A Quiet Place.
That was a surprise.
Alexander Desplat from Eye of Dogs. Of course it would
Yeah.
be. Ludwig Göransson for Black Panther. Justin Hurwitz for First Man. And Mark Shearman from Mary Poppins Returns.
Now, I am not familiar with 2 of those, but I am with 3 of them. Isle of Dogs is great. Alexander Desplat works beautifully with Wes Anderson. It is a great score. Ludwig Göransson's score for Black Panther was awesome. There were 3 great Marvel scores this year. Christoph Beck for Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I think it was Alan Silvestri did Infinity War. They were all great, but I agree that Black Panther was the best of the bunch. But this one baffles me. Marco Beltrami does great work. And I do remember the music in A Quiet Place being excellent. But this is literally a film about silence.
Yeah.
I need to go back and listen to that score. I need to figure out what was so earth-shattering that a film about being silent could get a score nomination. It's baffling me.
On to Best Screenplay.
Yes.
Alfonso Cuarón for Roma. Deborah Davis and Tony McNamara from The Favourite. Barry Jenkins, If Beale Street Could Talk. Adam McKay, Vice. And Peter Farrelly, Nick Vallelonga. And Brian Curry from Green Book. I have not seen any of it.
I have not either. I want to see
if
all
Beale
of
Street
these.
could talk.
I want to see all of these. Roma is my big one. I really want to. And of course, Netflix are... they are releasing it in enough theaters that people can't complain that they didn't release it in any theaters.
And then won't release it on DVD.
But they're probably not going to release it here. But I want to see that movie. But all of these look good. I have not seen any of them. Let's see. Best Director Motion Picture. We have Bradley Cooper for A Star is Born. Alfonso Cuarón for Roma. Peter Farrelly for Green Book. Spike Lee for Black Klansman. Adam McKay for Vice.
Of course Bradley Cooper's on this list.
Of course he is.
Spike Lee of all people, though.
This is an odd list. You say of all people. I mean, come on. You got Peter Farrelly.
Yeah.
Farrelly! No!
Green Book must be an amazing movie.
I've heard great things about Green Book, but Farrelly! But Alfonso Cuarón is a phenomenal director. Spike Lee can be when he's on point, and BlacKkKlansman, he was on point.
Yeah.
That was a good movie.
I admit, Spike Lee has been more on point with BlacKkKlansman than he has been in a while.
And I am very curious to see Cooper's work as a director. I really am. So,
Alright.
Best
Motion Picture Foreign Language.
Yeah.
The one that you may have seen more than me.
I have not seen any
haven't
of
seen
these.
any of them. Roma, of course. Never Look Away. Girl. Capernaum. And Shoplifters.
Okay.
I wonder if Shoplifters is like The Bike Thief.
I know very little about most of these, except Roma is Mexico's submission for the Oscars. It is on the short list. And Girl is not on the Oscar short list. It apparently got a lot of backlash from the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's European. I can't remember what country. I don't really know any of the others. This next category was one of the most wonderful surprises of them all.
That's some good ones.
We have Best Motion Picture Animated. 3 were fairly expected. Incredibles 2, we all know, is going to win the Globe and the Oscar. We know this. It is a great film. I do think it's probably not the most original film. The original Incredibles was more original because it was the first one out.
Yeah.
This one did rehash a lot of it, but it did it in so much class, so much finesse.
Oh, it was done well.
It was a wonderful film. Isle of Dogs was one of Wes Anderson's weaker films, I thought, but it was different. It was weird. It was fascinating. Wes Anderson. Ralph Breaks the Internet, the Disney submission. Again, a sequel. I loved Wreck-It Ralph. I have not gotten to see the sequel yet. I really want to. This is where the surprises came in. First of all, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
I've heard a lot of good stuff about that.
Me too.
I really want to see it.
I'm very interested to see Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen brought into life.
Doesn't take animated films seriously, so
we can find a time to go see it.
My wife is telling me, no, I'm not going to see it
because
it's animated.
The one we did get to go see, this is awesome. Mamoru Hosoda's new film, Mirai no Mirai, a.k.a. Mirai of the Future, actually got a nod.
I actually liked it better than Incredibles 2.
It's supposedly I think it's the first, I think I read, this may not be accurate because I could swear one of the Ghibli ones pulled it off, but I read it was like the first anime to get a Golden Globe nod. At the very least, it's definitely the first non-Ghibli one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm holding out the hope. I'm holding out the hope that this year Oscar will get its head out its ass when it comes to anime. Between Mirai of the Future and Night a Short Walk On Girl, those are 2 major Oscar bait movies. Please let one of them get the nod. But Mirai was a wonderful film. It was really great. It was absolutely phenomenal, and I would love to see it get a Globe.
I would love to see it. It's just sad that these last few years I just can't get to all of them.
Right. So you get to
Best Actor in Supporting Role. We're getting to these big ones now.
Yeah.
Mahershala Ali from Green Book.
Mahershala.
Timothy Chalamet, Beautiful Boy. Adam Driver, BlacKkKlansman. I got that one. Richard E. Grant, Can You Ever Forgive Me? And Sam Rockwell, Vice. Sadly, I've only seen one movie, and Adam Driver was excellent in that movie.
He did a great job.
And who knows, maybe he'll get the award, but the others I'm sure did excellent.
Right.
Have you seen it? You've not seen any of these.
I have not. I'm not even at all familiar with Can You Ever Forgive Me, but all the others are on my to-watch list, and especially Beautiful Boy was one I'm Best Actress in a Supporting Role, Amy Adams for Vice, Claire Foy for First Man, Regina King for If Beale Street Could Talk, and both Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz are nominated for The Favorite.
Oh, you know that Emma Stone is going to be the favorite.
Could be, or could split the vote. I could actually see Regina King being Beale Street's big lead there. But I do kind of want to see those. And actually, I've not seen First Man. and I've not seen The Crown, which Claire Foy stars in that.
Oh,
but
Crown is awesome.
after seeing her in Unsane, I'm just curious to see, like, Unsane was such a solid performance. I'm curious to see how good she was in First Man.
All right, best actor in a motion picture, musical or comedy.
Woo!
I like how it's weird how they always put this one
Oh,
in.
it is weird.
Christian Bale, Vice. Manuel Miranda, Mary Poppins Returns. Viggo Mortensen, Green Book. I think, well, whatever. Robert Redford, The Old Man and the Gun. First time up here, actually.
Yeah.
And Stan and Ollie for John C. Reilly, Stan and Ollie. I've heard some interesting stuff about Stan and Ollie. Not a lot.
All of these
But,
are ones I want to see. Of course, The Old Man and the Gun was supposed to be Robert Redford's swan song. They got pissed off that everyone was talking about Robert Redford's swan song.
He's like, okay, it's not.
So, yeah. But I do want to see that. I'm surprised it's in the comedy category, though.
That is, well, that's
yeah.
the one that they just stuff
Yeah.
film sometimes. The Martian was in that category.
Well, it was kind of funny. But, yeah. Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. Emily Blunt for Mary Poppins Returns. Olivia Colman for The Favorite. Elsie Fisher for 8th Grade. Charlize Theron for Tully. And Constance Wu for Crazy Rich Asians. I could actually comment on 2 of these. And I'm thrilled for both. I do think it's really freaking weird and not at all appropriate that Elsie Fisher is nominated for comedy rather than drama. Because 8th Grade is not really a comedy. It's a film about 8th grade, and it's every bit as awkward and painful as if you were in the 8th grade.
Well, could it be a musical?
But I will say this, Fisher does a great job. I don't know how much of this is her, since I've not really seen her in anything else, but she does a phenomenal job, and it really is a good film.
I know which one you're hoping for the win, though.
Well, the other one that I have seen, Constance Wu, I loved Crazy Rich Asians. It was a lot of fun. Wu does give a great job, and since she's from my hometown, I'm rooting for her definitely.
Alright, best motion picture, musical, or comedy. Crazy Rich Asians, The Favorite, Green Book, Mary Poppins Returns, and Vice. I really want to see Crazy Rich Asians.
I want to see it.
I mean, it was watched while I was around, but then I was never invited to watch it with. So it kind of sad, really.
Okay. I want to see all the ones I have not seen in this group. Although 2 of them worry me. One, Green Book, Peter Farrelly.
He's going to be a big win this year.
And The Favorite is by Yorgos Lanthimos. This is the dude that did Dogtooth. Yes, exactly. And he did The Lobster, which I will admit, I liked The Lobster, but it was a weird movie.
So was Dogtooth.
Dogtooth was weird and it sucked.
Too weird to thrive.
I did not like Dogtooth. No. Okay, so Best Actor in a Motion Picture Drama. Which, okay, now this baffles me. Why was A Star is Born not considered a musical? I don't know. Anyway, so we got Bradley Cooper for A Star is Born, Willem Dafoe for At Eternity's Gate, Lucas Hedges for Boy Erased, Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody,
Also musical.
and John David Washington for Black Klansman. Now, John David Washington did a great job in Black Klansman. I have heard very mixed things about Bohemian Rhapsody, but
everything good about
everyone
Rami Malek.
everyone seems to say he did it great. And the others, I've heard nothing about At Eternity's Gate. I know nothing about it, but Dafoe is awesome. And I've heard great things about both Cooper and Hedges' performances, so...
Yeah, it is what it is. Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Drama.
Yeah.
Glenn Close, The Wife. Lady Gaga, A Star is Born. Nicole Kidman, Destroyer. Melissa McCarthy, Can You Ever Forgive Me? Really? And Rosamund Pike, A Private War. I am very curious about A Star is Born. I really am.
I want to see it. That and the wife are really the only ones of these I've heard much about.
I've seen every other incarnation of A Star Is Born, might as well.
Right.
But, I don't know. Alright, let's do this. We're getting close to the... Actually, we are...
That is the last
we are
one,
at the
I
end.
believe, yes.
Last one.
Yes, Best Motion Picture Drama. Black Panther. Pleasant surprise there. Black Klansman. Bohemian Rhapsody. If Beale Street Could Talk. And A Star Is Born.
I really don't think Bohemian Rhapsody will pull that off.
No shot in hell.
Black Panther
Was awesome.
could. It's awesome. But Black Klansman was also freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Beale Street could. I haven't seen it. And A Star Is Born could. But
You should have had Infinity War somewhere on the list.
I don't know. I mean, I think Black Panther was better than Infinity War in my opinion. But that's just... That is what it is.
Yep. That's some very interesting choices, and again, some surprising ones. And some that can give us hope when the Oscar nominations come out. Hope for Mirai to get animated feature. Hope for Black Panther to get a Best Picture nod. You know, who knows?
I've seen the only animated feature I need to see before I know which one's going to win.
Well, we know Incredibles is going to win, but let's see what's actually on the...
I would like to actually keep the lists. The lists are strong, and a nod is a good thing.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to see some competition. And
Yes.
Mirai is strong competition for The Incredibles if people would bother to watch it.
Yes.
And I just don't see them. They'll look at it, nah. Incredibles.
People are stupid.
Because people look at... They look at the animated feature as a kid's thing. They always look at animated as a kid's thing.
Which, let's put this straight. Incredibles 2 is for a family film.
Yes.
But there's a lot there that's not really strictly for kids. Isle of Dogs is not in any way, shape, or form a freaking kids movie. Mirai is not in any way, shape, or form a kids movie. Night is Short, Walk On Girl is not in any way, shape, or form a kids movie. And I can't speak for Spider-Verse, but I doubt that's a kids movie.
I think kids could watch it.
Well, yeah, but I doubt it's a kids movie.
Yeah.
I doubt Ralph Breaks the Internet is a kids movie. It's probably going to be more kids skewing.
It's geared to kids.
It's going to be more kids skewing than the others because Disney.
Yeah, like Pixar.
But the original Wreck-It Ralph definitely was for all ages.
Yeah, the target audience, even for Pixar, has been for kids, but they are really good at making it so the whole family can enjoy. And the same goes with Wreck-It Ralph, the original, because, yes, it was geared towards small children, but it was also made so that the whole family could enjoy it together.
You know what would be really hilarious? Would be like if all the animation studios got together and did a moratorium on actual kids' movies for the year and see if that would wake the Oscars up.
Yeah.
They do like an animated version of A Star Is Born and an animated version of Boy Erased and an animated version of Black Klansman.
An animated version of Blue is the Warmest Color.
And an animated A Clockwork Orange.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, that'd be lovely. I love it.
Well, that's been our vlogcast this time.
Okay.
It's run actually about normal. Most of these are supposed to run around an hour, and we've done that.
We gave you a short one last week, so there.
So yeah, you can make up for it this week. But that was just a little insight into a lot of the awards. And we are looking forward to it. I need to see more. Mm-hmm. And we all need to see more.
Yeah.
But hopefully by the time Oscar season comes around, I'll have a little bit more insight. Mm-hmm. I know you'll have more insight.
Oh, yeah.
And we will see you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.